Welcome to the Spirited Blogger Podcast. You hear a lot about juicing for health. Juicing has many benefits. You can detox your body. If you have trouble absorbing vitamins, it's a good way to start your morning. And it can clean out your digestive system. It's best to research a little bit before you try it and not be so scared of it. It's not that complicated. It's very easy. And once you have your setup in your kitchen, you start to look forward to it. Now, the best way to start is organizing your nutrients that you're going to need. I did a podcast that's called The List, and it's the health section one. It should be the third podcast from the Spirited Blogger series. You take into account your health, your needs, the vitamins that you need for your body. You take into account your illnesses and research the foods that you're going to need to get these nutrients into your body. Now, for example, mine is anemia, which is iron-based. I need a lot of iron. For my diagnosis, I have to take 3 to 5 tablets of iron a day to sustain normalcy in the day. But to get that in food, it's almost impossible. You have to eat a lot of grains. I can only eat so much kale, so many beets. Juicing allows me to compact all that as much as possible and get it into a non-pill form, because taking too much iron for me is still dangerous even though I need it at the same time. If you have trouble taking your vitamins, let's say you have to take supplements, you have trouble taking them because your stomach hurts after you feel nauseous, juicing helps too. You stick it in there with your juice. Now, the first thing I would start off is in the morning when you wake up from your fast, start off with a large cup of ice water. Usually people get coffee, but you find out the urge for coffee is because you're dehydrated when you wake up. If you start replacing it with water, just a big glass of water, you're going to see how you wake up also, and it has the same effect as coffee to some extent. And you can have your coffee afterwards if you need your coffee, but start off with a glass of ice water and just flush your whole system out. Now, the difference between using a blender and a juicer is the juicer removes the pulp from the vegetables and fruits. The blender keeps everything and you blend what you have and you'll have pulp in it. And with the pulp, many people there are actually recipes that you can do with the pulp. You can make burgers, vegetable burgers out of it. You can you can make crackers. There's all kinds of things. I'll do another podcast for what you could do with the pulp from your juicer. So the difference between a blender and a juicer are those two things. And if you don't have a juicer yet or cannot afford one, there are some inexpensive ones on eBay and Amazon. You could get them as low as $29, and then they go up from there. They could be in the hundreds. But if you're starting out, start out with something simple and to see if it's something you'll be consistent with. Now, once you have your list and you have your grocery list, do not be afraid to buy in bulk. Out of habit, when we go grocery shopping, we always buy what we need for that month or for that week. If you're going to take into account juicing, it's still a lot cheaper to buy 4 heads of lettuce, 5 stalks of celery, and if you need kale like I do, just try to save $6 worth of kale. So there are ways to do it. So when you're figuring out your grocery list, also figure out the cost, and you also figure out that you're going to have to go shopping at least every 2 weeks to keep the vegetables fresh and your fruits fresh. Oranges, apples, you could probably get away with for a while, because even if they're bruised a little bit, you could still eat them. They do not have to be in perfect form because they're going to be made into juice. Now, when you do your menu, there's a lot of advice on the internet. There are so many blogs and so many recipes. And what I've learned, especially if you're watching your calorie intake, there are some videos out there that show you their recipes, and when you watch them, they just put too many additives in it. Let's pop in this, and now we're going to pop in this stevia, and we're going to do this and that. The saying of less is more would apply to juicing as well, because you can get too excited and put too many things in there and up the calories that's in your shake, kind of defeating the purpose if you are trying to watch your weight or just clean out your system or just get your nutrients in. So it's best to start off with small recipes and work your way up to see what you like, what you don't like. If you want to be strictly vegetable based, main vegetables that have the least amount of calories but that will give you a large amount of juice: celery, lettuce, cucumbers, and romaine lettuce. Now, with each juice, it's best to find one fruit that you like. The fruit is to offset the taste of just pure vegetables. Usually it's apples. It could be red apples, green apples, yellow apples, and pineapple. Here's one recipe example that you could try to start, just use a bunch of spinach, 2 apples, and a half a lemon. That's a simple drink. Another one, for a green smoothie, if you need more of iron and stuff, you use a bunch of kale, a half a head of romaine lettuce, 1 cucumber, 1 apple, 4 celery stalks, and 1 lemon peeled. An additional recipe would be 2 green apples, 4 stalks of celery, cucumber, kale, a half a lemon, and fresh ginger. Now the ginger, if you start putting that in, a lot of people put ginger in to give your drink a kick. But with ginger, you always start off slowly and work your way up. Another recipe that would go towards the reds of the vegetables would be 3 large carrots, 1 large tomato, 8 strawberries, 1 lime, fresh ginger, 1 apple, and 1 red bell pepper. You can also juice fruit as well, but with fruit you have to be careful, especially if you have diabetes. If you have diabetes, the sugar in the fruit can raise your glucose levels. When you do your research, put into account all of that. The same if you're going to be using the vegetable-based juice, just use 1 apple. Kind of do it in moderation and according to your taste. For all you know, you're going to like it without the fruit. Now to prepare for your juicing, you have to make sure you wash your fruits and vegetables. There are certain ways to wash them. Some people just run them through the water. A lot of fruits and vegetables still have preservatives on them. I've researched and read. Some people say a tiny bit of baking soda and a little bit of vinegar and water and just let them soak and rinse them out. And especially with blueberries, raspberries, and boysenberries, because those have the most preservatives on them when you buy them from the store. So you have to make sure you wash those if you're going to add little flavors. Now, depending on what kind of juicer you have, you may have to pre-cut your item. Keep in mind that carrots are a little bit harder to blend, so if you're using your blender, you will have to cut them up very small. So if you're considering juicing for your health, make sure to research, make your list of what you need for your nutrients for your body, measure out the fruits and vegetables that you're going to be using, and prepare an area in your kitchen that will make it easy for you, where you have things maybe cut up already in the refrigerator ready to go and you have your juicer ready. So in the morning, drink your water and start preparing your juice. Keep in mind the calorie intake and just experiment. And if you really want to see if there's a difference, chart your difference. Maybe certain foods aren't going to agree with you and you might have to change certain things. I think juicing is a good idea for everybody because you could detox your body, you can clean out your intestines, and your stomach and your intestines, this is the engine of your body. You don't feel good if you're feeling sluggish and stifling, your nutrients aren't getting absorbed. So you can eat something and say, I still don't feel right. I still don't feel good. I don't have the energy. Chances are you need to clean your engine out and kind of have a fresh start. I hope this was a helpful podcast. Thank you for listening.